How the fuck are you flusterclucks doing today? It's the Aussie Metalhead here. My apologies. It has been a few days longer than I would have liked since my last video. Work has been quite flat out lately. But I have made the time today to talk about some pretty fucking cool shit. And if you think I'm sounding a little more hyper than I usually am, it's for good fucking reason. Today, I will be discussing my second requested album review. This one comes from Brisbane, Deathgrinder Act Awful Noise. I want to thank their frontman Lyndon for reaching out to the channel a while ago, asking me to talk about their split with fellow death metalers Ignite The Massacre. I will be discussing the Awful Noise half of this split today. Thank you guys for being very fucking patient. I know it's taken me a while to get this one down, but I hope you enjoy what I've got to fucking say, because I actually found I had quite a fucking bit to talk about here. So, without any further ado, let's get into the fast, furious, fecal smearing affair that is Awful Noise. Let's fucking get into it. Chelsea Smiles for the Camera opens up with this sick fucking riff that really took me by surprise. This real cool mid-tempo kind of punkish sentiment mixed in with the filthy death metal distortion that immediately reminded me of some old school Napalm Death. Things take off into a groovy swagger for a few bars before we're launched into classic, grindy goodness. Filthy blast beats, fuck off gang chants, and Lyndon's brutal fucking vocals that is a big fan of bands like Napalm Death, Dying Fetus, Carcass, and Cattle Decapitation. I personally was immediately fucking hooked. I love the crusty yet really tight guitar tone. Crusty, but tight. There's some really sick fucking licks and tails sprinkled around the furious trems and snarling fucking chords. I think it's also worth mentioning that in terms of underground grindcore, the mixing done here is a lot clearer and crisper than what I would normally be used to. I think it definitely takes you by surprise, but after a few listens you get used to everything being a bit clearer and crisper than you normally expect, and it leads to a very easy listening experience, definitely. Lyrically, Chelsea and every other track on the album pertains to some pretty classic punk fucking lyrical themes, such as fake humanity, plastic facades, and in Lyndon's own fucking words, egoistic empathy. Fucking brilliant. The following track, Cryptic Shit Smearing, is a much more traditional grind anthem, throwing you into that stanky, filthy, sweaty mosh right from the fucking get-go. There are some really memorable fucking hooks and some great tempo drops mixed in amongst all of the grindy, blasty goodness. Truly filthy vocals with disgusting fucking gurgling lows and throat-searing highs. Fuck, you could almost sum up Awful Noise as being like the bastard shit-smeared offspring of bands like Dying Fetus and Napalm Death, but it all feels so much more unique and flavorful than that. It's utterly filthy, but still very well written. The songs, although short, are extremely memorable, and they all possess their own unique defining characteristics and attitude, which is an absolute must for sustainable grindcore. I mean, in terms of longevity, grindcore doesn't really have that many acts that have been known to carry the torch for a crazy long period of time. Not to say that there aren't many great grindcore bands out there in the scene. I myself am a fan of quite a fucking few. But I think it's difficult to argue that grindcore can't fall into this pit of being wholly repetitive and, many bands suffering from all of their songs very much sounding the same and bleeding into one another. The numerous tempo changes, the fucking time drops, the really well-constructed pacing, and just the fact that for short songs they really have managed to write some quite memorable hooks and riffs is absolutely essential, and I think it's one of the main reasons why I can keep coming back and thrashing this EP as much as I have been. Next up is Hollywood Graveyard, which busts in with a sick opening riff that brings a surprising subtle level of melody to the table, before it's another left turn into surprise ear fuckery with a drop into a groovy fucking death metal verse, before we're thrown right back into the up-tempo bounce. You know, I'll say it again. For such short songs, these guys have taken their writing really fucking seriously here. Interesting tempo changes, variations to the riffs and the percussion. I think it's well worth mentioning that Chris, Brady, and Pete all fucking brought it to the park. Fucking hardcore here, man. You guys all knocked it out of the fucking park. Working within the confines of like 2-minute long songs, they managed to get interesting instrumental passages, breaks, cool fucking changes, dynamics, peaks and valleys, creating a strong sense of progression throughout the split as a whole. Well fucking done, guys. I just mentioned this because I love this goddamn bridge so much. It's so fucking old school 80s death metal. I fucking love it. Last up for the Awful Noise half of the split is Ideological Conflict Thumb War Solution. What a monstrous fucking intro with these fucking brutal chugging chords, beastly pick scrapes, tight oppressive double kicks, before throwing us right back into dick-kicking, blasty, grindy fucking goodness, boy. Furious fucking picking, slamming vocals, brutal grindy drums, it's all fucking here, man. Your daily dose of necessary grind, you're fucking welcome, cunts. And the fucking chorus lyrics, man, the gang chant saying, "Let's go, thumb war." I never thought I'd hear a fucking thumb war being used as the main topic of a metal song. It's absolutely fucking fantastic. It cracks me up every fucking time. All in all, I'd say that all of these tracks are fucking sick. It's short, it's sweet, it gets to the fucking point, it doesn't overstay its welcome, it's what you fucking need in a good solid grindcore release. I admittedly haven't had a chance to really flesh out the Ignite The Massacre half of this split because I've had so much other stuff to listen to lately. Unfortunately, I haven't had a chance to really sift through it enough, their half at least, so I am intending on sitting down and giving Ignite The Massacre's side of the split its own review, just as I have done with Awful Noise, because I feel like considering there is more tracks on the split with Ignite The Massacre, I feel like there will be more to talk about there, so I figure I would reserve them for their own separate review. Ultimately, I was extremely surprised, pleasantly surprised I should say, with just how much I had to talk about with this fucking EP. I really wasn't expecting there to be nearly as much vocal points for a grindcore release as there was. This is why I haven't reviewed too much grindcore in the past, because I really won't review something unless I feel like I have a plentiful enough amount that I can make an entertaining video. And if I don't have enough to go off to create something interesting descriptively, I'm not usually going to bother with it. So you guys did an absolutely fucking tremendous job with this fucking split. I am very much behind Awful Noise now. I will be picking myself up a fucking CD and a shirt like you cunts fucking should be as well. Fucking link to the Bandcamp below. Support the cunts, buy the fucking EP, get yourself a fucking t-shirt. They might be in Brisbane, man, but hopefully the cunts will have another chance to come over here to the west, and motherfuckers like me will get another chance to see them perform live. But that is enough from me today, guys. I hope you have enjoyed today's review. I will have several videos coming next week. I assure you that the content will start coming out on a more regular basis. I just really needed to get through these last couple of weeks of work. Now I am back to firing on all cylinders. I'm ready to bring you guys some decent content. The end of the year is drawing nigh, and I have quite a few things that I want to talk about before we get there. So, until next time, you crazy motherfuckers, stay sick.